You've tuned into Stranger Than Fiction News, broadcasting live from the dark side of the planet. Undeniable footage proves that the Earth is round. Part 2. There's nothing better than doing a flat Earth video because there are no winners in this conversation. And no matter which side you take, you anger so many people. And that's why we love doing these flat Earth videos. We like nothing better than to piss you off out there. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Because even if you do get angry, even if you do get sad, there's something about these videos that keeps you coming back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And, I'm going to be honest here. We've been doing this for quite some time. We've got over 1 billion views to our name. And we're the most dangerous channel out there by far. Now, people want to, come on here and leave their comments like they know something. Like they've seen it with their eyes. What they've seen, ladies and gentlemen, is a video. They've seen a video like this video. A video of Lake Michigan showing Chicago. They've seen videos like this where people are, wondering about the curvature of the Earth. And with a picture like this, the water does look flat, doesn't it? The problem is with people that never leave their homes, that have never really experienced the real world, is that they've never gone to the ocean and asked themselves the question, is the Earth really flat? Because anybody that's gone to the ocean, ever since flat Earth became a thing, has asked themselves that very same question. And then all of a sudden it hits them right in the fucking face. Oh shit, I see the curvature in the ocean. I can see it, but I don't want to see it, some people might say. I don't want to see the truth. But it's when you see it for yourself, the Earth is not flat. You can see the slight curve from left to right on the horizon. It's like a little bubble. Now, we talked about this yesterday. We're going to be talking about that footage again. We're going to be going over it step by step. Now that I've been able to see what the objections are in the comments, I can better address the issue. I appreciate the feedback out there. I love it when people lose their minds. Now, not one, maybe one, out of all of the shills that came out there, all of the Judases in disguise that came out there to leave a comment, not one, maybe one, was like, well, that thing about the vanishing point really did strike a nerve. Not one of the fucking shills that wrote a comment yesterday talked about the vanishing point. Instead, they're like talking about the fisheye lens. Do you see a fisheye lens on this right now? Are you seeing it bend? You seeing it twist? You seeing any kind of distortion? Did you flunk fucking geometry out there? Is it too difficult to understand what a vanishing point is? If the Earth was flat, ladies and gentlemen, these lines would intersect at the horizon. They don't intersect below the horizon because that would be a mountain. They're actually intersecting above the horizon because of the curvature of the Earth. Now, I know you're going to lose your mind right there. You're going to be like, right? Right? You can't take it. Just admit it. You can't fucking take it right now. None of you are going to be commenting on this aspect of the video. It's just going to be something else. It's going to be like deflection, deception, denial. Because you're a Judas in fucking disguise. And that's what I don't like about these fucking flat tards. There's probably nothing that bothers me more than a libtard than a flat tard. No offense out there, because I'm sure you're, you know, 1 in 2 of you is a flat tard. Flat Venus, flat Mars, the flat moon, bitches. You've seen it, right? You've seen the flat moon. Now, we've seen some videos of the moon that disappears before it reaches the horizon. That's some pretty shocking shit. I've seen, you know, the lunar wave videos. I've actually done a show with that guy, Crow777. And he went into denial. He's like, oh no, it's, you know, it's not some kind of like rendering of the surface of the moon. It must be something else. You know what I mean? I'm going to get shills that come and comment here. Okay, so before we get, you know, moving on, do you understand the idea of, you know, the event horizon here? The vanishing point? Can you wrap your little fucking minds around this idea? Right? You're gonna get angry. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna unsubscribe. I'm gonna go back to NBC. I never left the basement. I never been to the ocean. I'm a total fucking retard sitting there commenting about stupid shit that they have no clue about. And I love it. I love it when people lose their fucking minds. It's the fucking best. Okay, this is the video that really, you know, this is what they had to like talk about like the whole time. There's nothing else, you know, nothing else in the whole video but this. Right? This is it. This is all they could talk about. Do you see the distortion? You see how fisheye that shit is right now? You see how flat that is? Right? You see how the plane is here in the whole fucking video? Do you see this plane distorting before your very fucking eyes? You see that shit fisheye before your fucking face right now? Is that what you see? Ah, come on, get angry. You know, fucking thumb this shit down. Look at the distortion of the plane. Look at it fucking bow up and down. Right? They're just like obsessed about the horizon. They're like, no, I got the answer to this one. I saw it on O.D.D. And this is a fisheye lens. Of course there are fisheye lenses. And I'll tell you what, you know, there's sometimes in this video when you almost think like the shit is like all of a sudden convex. But like we were saying yesterday, it's all about perception. You know, two people could be looking at the same thing, but totally perceive it the wrong way. And this, you know, is, you know, what makes a difference there is IQ and experience for the most part. Part of it. Let's just say part of it. There is something to be said about being a good person out there. Bad shit happens to otherwise good people. And there's really nothing you can do to avoid that. But, you know, there is something to be said about discernment. You live in a physical world with hands and feet, eyes, a consciousness. You're supposed to process information and make decisions on what you're seeing out there. But, you know, the propaganda, the indoctrination, the psyop is so strong that you're like, oh, for sure. You know, you see how this globe here, globe, bitches, turns flat? Well, it did turn flat. It's a matter of perspective. We'll bring that video back. Now, do you see this plane just fucking bow and twist and shit all throughout the video? Do you see that? Right? So, like, maybe there is a little bit of distortion. You know, like 1%. You know, maybe 2% distortion on the video, right? And you're going to go out there and, you know, basically, you know, try and fool everybody and be like, oh, yeah, no, it's the fisheye. It's the fisheye, bitches. Look at that plane twist and shout, right? And look, it wasn't even like the main point of the presentation. The main point of the presentation was the event horizon. This is just kind of like the warm-up, and this is all people could talk about because their argument is so weak that this is all that they could talk about was like, it's a fisheye. Don't talk about anything else. It's the fisheye, right? That's how disingenuous these people are. And, you know, as soon as, you know, they peddle the same propaganda over and over again. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to build you up so that you can just basically be deceived like the Santa Claus. Remember how many people, you know, were like upset when they found out that the Santa Claus wasn't real? Well, that's basically what's going to happen once space tourism becomes like so commonplace, as commonplace as, you know, the airplane. Now, again, you know, we've been looking at this issue for years. And at first it seems really compelling because, you're like, oh yeah, they've been lying to me since the beginning. Everything's a lie, and you know. And then, you look into it, and then you figure out that in fact, well, no, it's not that it's flat. They're hiding something else. The flat Earth is a psyop. It's a cover up for something else. It gets people, thinking that, oh, well, all this shit, the NASA stuff is covering up the flat Earth. What if? I mean, here, just try and be an objective a little bit. I know you're angry out there. I know you're so angry, but try and be objective for a second, right? And ask yourself, well, what if they're covering up something else? Could it be, I mean, of all the things that are possible in the universe, could it be that there's something else that they're trying to cover up other than the fact that the Earth is flat? All right. And look, our position is that that is the case. What are they covering up? It could be the size of the planet. The curvature seems smaller. We've covered this. We could talk about the math. The curvature seems smaller than what they say. So the Earth could be bigger. They could be hiding a continent. They could be hiding something on the moon. They could be hiding the fact that, the technology is so far advanced that the ISS is just such a joke that it's not even worth faking it for real. But it could very well be that there is an ISS and that they're actually, putting in this obvious CGI shit just so people are like, oh yeah, it's fake. They're not doing it. The Earth is flat. Why? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? That is, I mean, those should be the questions that people are asking themselves at this stage. I mean, the flat Earth was like 10 years ago, more or less. And, you thought that question was settled in 1492, and you thought, it might have been settled with everything else. But no, it's come back. It's not settled science, according to some people. But why has it come back? What are they hiding? What is really going on? We're going to get back to where we were going, but the point here is, ladies and gentlemen, is that if the Earth was flat, everybody would know it. And the mechanisms that, the flat earthers are pushing out there, like portals, and, the sun is really kind of going around, with some other kind of mechanism. Instead of gravity, they propose, like clockwork mechanisms with either an arm or some kind of, mystery propulsion system that would defy everything that, basically anybody's ever seen in the real world. And so essentially they're promoting, 0-point gravity, energy type of locomotion for celestial objects versus, gravity and inertia and the like. So, look, I'd really like to see the physics equations and how they can work out seasons and how they can work out, nobody actually seeing these portals, even though everybody's got a camera, they can live stream that shit. Nobody's, ever live streamed a portal. Have you ever seen a portal? Like the sun going into a portal? The closest is the sun sets or the moon sets, and sometimes it kind of looks like, the sun is going somewhere. But there's somebody live streaming on the other side of the planet. I think we would know. Now, is there some truth about, can we get past the radiation belt? Can we get out of, lower orbit? Have we ever been to the moon? What's really on the moon and the like? What's really beyond our solar system and the like? And, there's a lot of interesting questions, a lot of interesting videos about, zooming in on the stars, and it just looks like it's, dancing. It's some kind of, mesmerizing event. But you get that same effect from, looking at a light a couple miles away, any light, through, optics. Very same thing. So, hard to say what is beyond the horizon. But if we were going to go, based on probability here, and we'll get back into the facts. And if you're joining us late, just go to the fucking ocean. You can see the curve for yourself. Anybody that's, pushing flat Earth is disingenuous at this stage. Maybe they haven't really researched it. They saw a couple videos and it looked really cool and it seemed a lot more compelling than, the official story or whatever. Look, that's understandable. But if you've been a flat earther for more than a year and you've really, kind of challenged yourself about, is this true, running your own experiments? Look, there's nothing simpler than going to the coast and being somewhere that, that's unobstructed, that you can see, the horizon all the way from the left to right. And the problem with, cameras these days is that they really only give you about 30, 35 degrees. You don't really get the 180 frontal, but maybe we can manage that. In any case, it's clear as day that there's curvature on the ocean. Clear as day. That's the end of the story. And you'd think there'd be enough people out there that have been to the ocean, that have gone and seen it for themselves, ladies and gentlemen, that this wouldn't even be a question. Everybody'd be like, oh yeah, no, dude, I mean, look, it looks pretty cool on the picture, and I think we got a picture of it somewhere. But when you actually, see it for yourself, it doesn't look like this. You don't just see this in real life. You know what I mean? But on a video, this looks legit. Yeah, it looks fucking flat. And, based on the perspective, it may look flat. The Earth is so big that you really have to be like, 20, 50 miles from the surface almost. Let's say at least 5 miles from the surface. To really, see it start to curve. But even at the surface, on the coast, you can see the slight curve. It's slight, but it's almost just like this. You can see the slight curve to the horizon. It's not completely flat. And, people can, scream, fish eyes all they want at the top of their lungs. But at the end of the day, you're fucking liars. And everybody knows it. And what's troubling is, seeing how many, flat-tards still today are out there, even on this channel, which I think, pulls in a subscriber base with a higher IQ than the average. And, even here, 1 out of 2, people are like, basically like so disingenuous with themselves and with others that they're out there losing their minds in the comments. And look, I felt like I really had to address this issue and help you, because you're making everybody else look really fucking stupid out there. Everybody that's really trying to make a difference in the truther movement, that's really trying to call out corruption for what it is and the eugenics programs and the epic struggle of good versus evil. You're making us look bad, because as soon as you talk flat earth, you're talking like, Ashkenazi and all this stuff, and like, the whole world is run by the Jews. That goes hand in hand with the flat earth, right? And if you think that, 9/11 was perpetrated by people that weren't in America, you're a fucking retard, right? Because everybody was told to stand down. It was obvious it was an inside job. And if you think that these people on the inside weren't on board, weren't part of the program, weren't in fact like, commanding the show, then you got another thing coming. If other countries were involved, they were on the sidelines watching it and maybe like offering some kind of, emotional support. But at the end of the day, the big bad wolf, is right here in this country. In every country, let's be quite honest. Good versus evil is happening in every country. But what you get is these fanatics that's like, step 1, flat earth. Step 2, the Jews did it, right? It's all they fucking talk about all day long. And, the Bible warns you about, cursing the chosen people out there. And, if you've read the Gospels, you'd know that this didn't happen in, North Dakota. It didn't happen in Texas. It didn't happen in Canada. It didn't happen in Europe. It didn't happen in Africa. It didn't happen in Australia. Hello. right? So what you got, you got anti-Christian people pushing anti-Christian, anti-faith, anti-Bible ideology. These are cult members. These are Judases in disguise. And it's important that you understand who these people are, because they're the worst kind of fuck up to have in your entourage. And if you don't like it, take your shit to NBC. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? We got 1 billion views to our name. What do you got? You been in the basement watching fucking TV? You don't even know that the earth is round? You're going to come talk shit to me? Get the fuck out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, check out this clone. See, this is Hillary glitching off the television. People wonder, hey, why do you show this clip? This was streamed live. She's CGI. At least she was in that one. Digital clones, as well as the organic clones. Who's dropping these clones? And it's terrible because in the last 2 broadcasts, we unloaded some epic information. And of course, the anti-Christian, Luciferian fucking cult members, the Judases in disguise that come out here and try and troll this page, they're like, oh no, look, the fisheye. Oh, look, the fisheye and shit. You know what I mean? I banned all these fuckers. They're gone. They're fucking done. And I never want to see you again. If you're this fucking, if you're this fucked up, this far into the game, I don't know what to tell you. And it's just like the people that are just out there like, with their red fucking MAGA hats, I'll be honest with you. If you can't tell it's still skull and bones, you really got no business being a truther out there. Who the fuck do you think you are? You're out there, promoting flat earth, promoting the Trump train. When these people are rolling out the 5G, they didn't roll back the vaccines, right? They're doing their Gladio B events in Syria and shit. It's all come out of the OPCW. I mean, it's all been exposed, right? You got them just like, neck and neck or, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow with Epstein and the clan. They've, they're so fucking balls deep into Epstein and everything that was going on over there that it's not even funny. And you got people out there like, oh no, I was subscribing because, you're not on the Trump train. I saw the flat earth from, on the video. And these are the people literally with an IQ in the fucking sub-zero range that are coming on here, talking their shit. And look, I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of these fucking Trump rallies and shit like that, but, 3 out of 4 people that you see there are practically drooling on themselves. It's kind of a joke. And in fact, what's happened to our country is kind of a joke. And it's not their fault. Look, I don't want to be mean, right? They've been victimized by the fluoride, by the drugs, by the public education, by the TV. They've been bamboozled by the TV. These people don't know what the fuck is going on. And we try to, offer a public, service and inform people what the fuck is going on. But that doesn't stop, the sub-zeros out there from coming over and talking their shit. And I love it when people lose their minds. That's why we talk about the flat earth. And we even got people, look, I'll be honest with you. We got people, one person on the crew right now that was like, let's take down the video. I think the earth is flat. I'm like, you must be out of your fucking mind. I didn't say that, of course. I want to be nice, right? But I love it when people lose their minds. What do you think of this video? What do you think that is, right? This is actual video. What do you think is going on out there with this black beam and these fucking sonic waves? This is like 5 years ago, man. What do you think they got now? The tech doubles every year. How many clones do you think are out there? These 3 videos were taken just like a few months apart during the 2016 campaign. Who is this girl? Where is she now? How many of them are there? That is the question. But no, people don't want to hear that, man. They want to talk about the fisheye lens. You want to go back to that video? I mean, look, yeah, there might be a little bit of a distortion there. 1, 2, 3 degrees. Where is that video? We'll find it. The video guy. It's always a challenge. But don't talk about, the event horizon here. Don't talk about the vanishing point being above the horizon and all of these, HD photographs, because obviously, that just wouldn't, that just wouldn't go with your narrative. Instead, let's just pick on something that might, that might work and be like, oh, the fish lens. We'll find the video. We'll get that video guy one of these days. Ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? The robotoids. They're coming. They're here already. Look at that. They show you the ones that don't look real just to kind of make you think that that's where it's at. But you see that girl right there? See how she's blinking? It's like when your computer's accessing a hard drive. That's what that is. You see these people all the time. You don't even know it. But, thankfully for you, we're here to help you out, right? In any case, let's talk about this video from yesterday a little bit. So we're like, hey, let's start out with something kind of cute. Here's the plane taking off. And we even had one joker come on and be like, oh, they used the Russian plane. Like, we're some kind of Russian bot. You know what? I think I'd rather be Russian right now than being part of that team that goes and murders people for oil. I'm just saying that out there. You know what I mean? Maybe they've murdered some people for oil. You know what? Look, I've been looking at what they've been doing for the last few years, and they've been cleaning up our mess. And they're not allowing all this LGBT shit in their society. They're not being overrun with, the immigration and shit. They're doing it right. And you want to know why? They're the big enemy of like the New World Order because they're a Christian country. They didn't turn their back on their faith. Now, see how it looks flat right there? That's actually a globe, right? This is like basically what you see in a picture. That's all you get to see. That's that's as much as you get to see is right there. But what's really there is something completely different. And you see these kind of like optical illusions all the time, right? And basically what they're showing you in these flat earth videos are optical illusions. It's nothing more than, than one of these magic shows. David Copperfield, take your pick, right? And that's it. And, to see people, basically get so upset over a flat earth video tells you, how, well the propaganda has worked. And I'm sure, there's still a bunch of you out there that are, shaking your heads. You're still going to unsubscribe no matter what. And, all I can say is good fucking riddance. Not everybody's going to make it, man. Enjoy those death towers out there. Be sure to stay on your phone. You know what I mean? Pay with your credit card. Get those Fidelity cards. Go to Disneyland. And for sure get one of those Ring Amazon surveillance systems. Fucking sheeple out there. I love it. Now watch this plane distort, man. Like watch the fisheye, video camera in action. You can see the whole thing bend with the horizon. You know what I mean? Oh no, what it is, it's selective CGI. Now look, that's certainly a possibility. You know what I mean? And, look, this video really does seem suggestive as far as being fisheye because you see how quickly the horizon actually changes in terms of, what kind of looking flat to kind of looking curved. And look, even if it was, even if there was a little bit of distortion, like 2-3%, you wouldn't expect to see the whole fucking thing bow without the plane bowing with it. You know what I mean? Like I could accept like a little bit, but not that much. And that's really not even like, the main part of the presentation. The main part of the presentation was the event horizon. Why, oh why, if the earth is flat, do we actually see, these lines, these roads, intersect above the horizon and have that be the vanishing point? Why? I mean, that takes a lot of thinking, and most people just can't get that far in their minds. And so they give up and they just go back to what they can understand, which is the optical illusion, which is the magic trick, which is, the Luciferian Judas in disguise. And that's really unfortunate. That's all people can retain because they're so mesmerized by the fluoride, by the television, by the Wi-Fi and shit. I'm not even sure how most people really even get dressed in the morning out there. I'm not sure how they would function if they weren't, getting fast food and the like. But look, I think we've all been there. And the whole point of life is, to grow and to evolve and to get smarter and better and all that stuff. And so I hope that this broadcast was somewhat informative for some of you out there. Again, 1 out of 2 were completely lost when it came to the flat earth. And, I applaud the 1 out of 2 that got the point. Now, look, in the realm of possibilities, is it possible that the earth is flat? Look, anything's possible. Is it possible that the moon is flat? Sure, why not? Is Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, is that flat too? Is the sun flat? Have you seen the portals lately? Is it possible? Sure. Is it probable? No. Their theory that they're promoting is vastly more complicated than the physics that we see out there today. And, if you have to choose between 2 competing ideas, usually the simpler one is the correct one. It's like, hey baby, why didn't you call me last night? Oh, I was shopping, I was with the girlfriends, and I just kind of fell asleep and I forgot. Okay. Or I was out with another guy. Oh, yeah, I get that one. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's tons of examples. I don't know why I picked that one, ladies and gentlemen. In any case, we highly recommend that you check out the last 2 broadcasts and just forget about your objections that you had before this broadcast, because your objections were unfounded and, quite frankly, ridiculous. I'm sorry to say. Back in 1492, they kind of thought the earth might have been flat. A couple guys thought it was round and they could just find another way, right? But that was a pretty daring adventure. They thought they were going to fall off the fucking side of the earth if they went the wrong way. All right? And then they just kept going round and round and round and round. Over and over and over again. They never fell off. Have you ever met one dude that's ever fallen off the fucking earth? Hello, McFly. I love it when people get upset watching the flat earth videos. I hope you get upset out there. The dedicated, lost causes out there trying to take everybody down with you. Our advice is to not follow their lead because they're not on solid ground. And if you want to prove it to yourself, take a vacation to the coast where you've got an unobstructed view from, north to south. If you're in some kind of port or harbor or some shit, and you've got, cities and peninsulas or whatever jutting out, you can't really see, you may not get it. But if you go out there and you get a proper vantage point, there's no doubt that you can see the curve. So look, don't take our word for it. Don't take the YouTube, the other YouTube videos for it. Go test it out for yourself. Go to the ocean. Go on a vacation. Go out. Get out of the house. And see it for yourself. That's how we know. And otherwise, look, if you're just trying to make a decision based on YouTube videos, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to say. Who's right? I've seen them all. And it is compelling. It makes you think, and that's wonderful. I like the idea that there is an idea that challenges your way of thinking on just about everything. Right? What if the world is flat? What if they've been lying to you about all that? Well, look, that's a pretty big deal. What are the implications? And it's undoubted that they are lying to you and that they are hiding something, but it's not that the earth is flat. And you can see that for yourself. Again, just go to the coast, test it out. Don't be a bitch. Don't whine and, and try and be like, I'm going to make him look bad. I'm going to be like, I'm going to call him a shill because, he doesn't agree with me or whatever. He doesn't agree with O.D.D. Look at it for yourself. And then you'll realize what a dumb fuck you are for coming on my channel and talking shit. You know what I mean? And now you're done. So, look, I mean, I'm open to, free speech. But, look, there's so much censorship out there anyways that I think, this content has a right to be presented without, the shills coming in on top of everything else. But look, the shills came in and we addressed the issue. People got to see it. There's a bunch of likes. It was funny. It's about the same crowd, 50% of people that were like, liking every other shill comment that came through. And whatever, now you look like a dumb shit, and I'll do it again. I'll do another, flat earth video, but you just got to see it for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen. Go out there, see the ocean, enjoy the waves, enjoy the beach, enjoy that fresh air, but be careful because there's a death tower nearby, especially like the tourist trap beaches. They love zapping that shit. In fact, wherever the people go, that's where they zap the shit out of you the most. And we recommend getting a meter. We highly recommend the EMF 390 for the money. It blows away the competition. I mean, it's not even close. And, but shop around, check it out. You can find, the details on our website, stfnreport.com, or in the comments. And, for all you shills that were like, I'm gonna unfollow, I'm not gonna support you. You don't know what you're talking about. Eat a fucking dick. Eat a fucking dick out there because you're losers. You know what I mean? And you're just trying to mislead people. If it wasn't so obvious when you go to the coast, then, maybe you'd have, something to stand on. But I mean, anybody that's gone to the coast, you can see the curve for yourself. And, if you're really that kind of loser that's just going to be like, seeing it, but they're like, no, I'm not going to, I don't want to accept it. I'd rather believe the fucking YouTube video versus what you see with your own eyes. Look, get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up. Quit wasting people's time. Find something else to do. You know what I mean? Because you're making everybody look bad. And this, this flat earth thing has the potential of basically bringing so many people down once it becomes so painfully obvious, And, I think that, this is probably the better way than the kind of like, than what they're planning, which is just to show like non-stop, like, video tourism from, low Earth's orbit. And it's just like, people are floating and taking snapshots, and it's just, there's so many of them that it just can't all be CGI, right? And then people are going to be thinking to themselves, oh, well, look, if that's not real, then, what else is going on? And it's just like the slippery slope, one doubt after another. And then you just start losing your way. So better to just kind of like, nip it in the butt, if you will, before it becomes your foundation. And even if the earth was flat, round, rectangular, it really doesn't change a thing. It is the way it is. And everything is here with purpose. And you can tell that, the world was created. It's right there in the DNA. Right there in every form of life. You got a programming language, a literal program running the whole show. This is not, some kind of product of chemical evolution, some kind of random assembly of molecules. This is nanotechnology. And if you want to know more about that, check out the documentary, Unlocking the Mystery of Life. Now, again, look, this is if, knowledge and intelligence, matters to you. If logic matters to you. If you just want to go with whatever feels right, like being like a Sodom and Gomorrah, then, that's the path you've chosen. But it's not about what just, feels good. Oh, yeah, they've been lying to me. Of course they're lying to you, dumbass. But what are they really lying about? And it's more than just, the earth is flat. There's so much more than the earth is flat. And look, the mechanisms of a flat earth with like the sun, like rotating around on some kind of mechanical arm, going through portals or whatever, however they kind of, wing it, is totally, out there. What's more real is, the moon is a Death Star. What's more real is that the sun is a portal. What's more real is that, we're not alone. You know what I mean? That's more real than, the earth is flat. It's right there. Just check it out in the ocean for yourselves. Don't be a bitch out there. But do support our broadcast. Help us reach more people, because misinformation always comes from the dark side. It's lies, not truth. And, however it's spread, whatever it is, when people start believing in something that, isn't real, that isn't there, like idolatry, it's just, it's just bad news. It's wicked. And, we're just trying to help people avoid what they can. Obviously, they're lying to you. Obviously, they're covering something up. They're fucking with you so hardcore, like double, triple, style. It's not just, it's not that they're covering up one little thing or whatever. I mean, they're just so double mind fucking you. It's not even funny. But, the CGI that you pick up on the ISS and whatever, it's not, it's there just to make you think that, oh, the earth is flat. They're not up there. They're just lying. They can't, they can't get past this, that, and the other. And, whether anybody can get past, the firmament, anybody can get past, the radiation belt is a different question, but there's more to it than that. And, I would recommend checking out the last two broadcasts. Again, since the last time you just couldn't get past the fish eyes because, you are the fish eyes out there. Or not. 1 out of 2 of you seem to have made it. We'll leave it there for this broadcast. We could sit here all day and just, belittle the shit out of people. We'll leave it there. Appreciate you tuning in. Like and share. Feel free to mirror. Check out our website, stfnreport.com. Until the next time, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.